Hello.
Madam, you can begin.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, all of you. Myself, Dr. Snigdha Das Mandal, Associate Professor and HOD Pharmacology Department, Parul Institute of Pharmacy and Research, Parul University. I take this opportunity to welcome you all for this webinar on Pharma Sciences Consulting from Academia Perspective by Dr. Mukesh Nandave. Dr. Mukesh Nandave is an associate professor in Department of Pharmacology at Delhi Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research University, New Delhi. Dr. Nandave earned his PhD in pharmacology from AIMS, New Delhi, and received his postdoctoral training from the Division of Cardiothoracic, the Ohio State University Medical Center, Columbus, USA. Since more than 12 years, Dr. Nandave has been investigating the role of nutraceuticals, herbomineral formulations, plant extracts, and constituents for myocardial ischemia and reperfusion injury, diabetes, obesity, and pain management. He has published more than 65 papers in peer-reviewed national and international journals. His overall citations are now at 761 with an H index of 17. His lab received more than 1.5 crore total funding from government as well as industry, including Dabur, Charak, Madhav Bagh, Sandhu, etc. Dr. Nandave has received numerous awards, including G. Achari Gold Medal by Indian Pharmacological Society, APTI Young Pharmacy Teacher of the Year Award, the Indus Foundation's Award for Research Excellence, Early Investigator Award by International Society for Heart Research, Professor Duggurala Vishweshwaram and Professor Srimantula Satyanarayana Prize, Best Research Output Award of the Year for 2012-13, 13-14, 14-15 from NMIMS University are a few to mention. Dr. Nandave is life member of various professional bodies, including International Society for Heart Research, International Academy of Cardiovascular Sciences, Indian Pharmacological Society, Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Association of Physiologists and Pharmacologists of India, Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, and Society of Ethnopharmacology. With this brief introduction, I request Sir to please start the webinar.
So I should start this.
Yes, sir. You can share. Yes, sir. Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, share your screen, sir.
Present now, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Click there. And yes, once you do there, then share.
Yeah, I have already started.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Now we can. Yes, we can see you. Yes, sir.
So can you see my presentation?
Yes, it is on the last slide, sir.
Okay, great. So it's in presentation mode now.
Yes, 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 sir.
Okay.
Yes,
so very good afternoon to one and all present for this webinar. And before I actually start my talk, I'm really grateful to organizing team at Parul University, Baroda, and especially there is a background noise.
Okay, sir.
Okay, can we start? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm grateful to organizing team at Parul University, especially Professor Snigdha and Professor Majumdar for inviting me for this talk. In next 45 minutes to 1 hour, I will be sharing my past 8 to 10 years of experience, uh, what I did in terms of pharma sciences consulting, and uh, it may not be 100% right because uh, when I started, I was again new to the system, and then as I gone through the process, I learned so many things first time. And during this presentation, uh, I would like to talk little bit on industry academia interaction. Then, what is pharma sciences consulting? When and why I started pharma sciences consulting, even though I was in academics as a associate professor in pharmacology. Then, how step by step I started this consultancy, and what are the mistakes I specifically made and a lesson learned out of that. And then what are the key points or take home message out of my presentation. So we all know that industry academia interaction holds very high importance. In fact, recent working group report from UGC that is published in September 2019 on enabling and enhancing university and industrial linkages says that university industry collaboration is a key enabler to promote innovation ecosystem. That, to simplify, more the industry academia interaction, more the innovation ecosystem any organization will develop in their organization. Another, what you call key indicator under NAC accreditation criteria, that is criteria 3.3 on innovation ecosystem, also highlights the importance of industry academia interaction. So that NAC also recognizes that particular institute or university how frequently, how strongly engage with industry while doing their uh, coursework or running the various courses at UG and PG level. Apart from UGC and NAC, NBA report again what you call tells the same thing, that industry institute collaboration positively affect the quality of education. Okay, despite of this importance or requirement of industry academia linkage or interaction by various accrediting bodies like NAC and NBA, UGC, still industry academia linkage is only 4.7 out of 10 in India. Then, if you know that as there are two stakeholders, industry and academia, there are different expectations from each other. For example, industry expects that academia should have market aligned courses. Okay, then industry also expects that generated manpower should be not only educationally qualified but also with the well versed with the various skills. Academia should work on their students or their outgoing products, okay, in such manner that they should provide the solutions for concern, okay. And on other side, academia expects that industry should fund research, also support in creating the infrastructure at university or institutional level. Whatever the projects industry and academia carry out together should have equal partnership. Academia expects that industry should help in placing their students, and both should work in a such manner that goals should be feasible, doable, achievable. Okay, so this is what little bit about on industry academia interaction and expectations by both stakeholders. So when I heard so much about industry academia interaction and also had realization of its importance in ranking of institute or university by different accrediting bodies including NAAC, NBA, AICT, PCI, and so many. Okay, then another reason that why I incline towards the pharma sciences consulting is a teaching job. So when you are responsible for teaching particular set of subjects, so what happens? Over the period of time, your presentations are ready, your lectures are ready, you have to only deliver them. I agree that you have to update your presentations or lectures time to time, but still it takes very less time to deliver your subject to the students. Okay, so subject remains the same, only student uh, vary. Okay, in that case, your teaching job becomes monotonous, and to add the excitement or add a flavor to that teaching job, I thought I should explore pharma sciences consulting. The third reason why I started a pharma sciences consulting is from institute. Okay, a push from institute. So when there is an expectation by different accrediting bodies that there should be a strong industry academic interaction, your present organization also expects that their faculty should be engaged more and more in industry funded projects. They should interact with industry very oftenly. Then they also expect that their faculty should visit various pharma industries, try to learn from the industry. So that push was another reason that I thought of pharma sciences consultancy. Another reason that I always compared, I always compared my teaching job salary with my postdoc salary, my Ranbaxy industry job salary. Then I thought of that how I can add extra income to my present uh, academia salary. So the solution was, or the answer was, that pharma sciences consultant. And these are the various reasons I thought of starting pharma sciences consulting. Now, what do you mean by uh, pharma science consulting? It's more than giving just advice. It's basically set of services that are offered to various clients that particularly include pharma industry. That services may include education, operational excellence, regulatory affairs, providing training, helping industry to develop a brand new formulation or improvise their existing formulation, how your skill and knowledge can help them to execute their project, manage their project in a faster manner, efficient manner. Then can you help them in their audits and compliance? So simple that in what manner you can help, assist, support the pharma industry. That is what, in short, consulting. And you know, based on what I learned, what is pharma science consulting, and the regions I gave, that I compelled to thought about the pharma science consultant, I started exploring. Okay, so how I started pharma consulting? First, made myself aware about various pharma industries present in Mumbai, Delhi, and various states in India. I started learning about pharma industries. Those are particularly operating in uh, herbal formulations, Ayurveda drugs, maybe medicinal plants and their characterization, evaluation, preclinical and clinical testing, in vitro testing, then documentation for their filing or approval or licensing. So, so I started learning about various processes, various industries operating in Maharashtra and other states of India. After that, I prepared my capability statement. Okay. So what I did first I started to understand who can be my customers. Okay. Who are the pharma industries to whom I can support, help, or can be a consultant for them. Okay. And after understanding that, I prepared my capability statement. So what is a capability statement? Is basically a document, okay, that tells you about your education, your past experience, your skills, your research interest, your what you call awards and achievement, about your present organization, about your past customers. Okay, so let me share how I prepared the capability statement. Now, let me share that. Okay, can you see this PDF document? Hello, hello.
Sir, yes. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the capability statement where I talked about my educational qualifications, my past associations with AIMS, then postdoctoral fellowship at Ohio State University, then as a research scientist in Ranbaxy, and various pharma companies with whom I work as a consultant, and my updated current contact details. Then I also listed out what are the core services I can provide to any pharma company. Now, what are the thrust areas of research where I have already worked or would like to work? And then these are the list of awards and achievement in the past. Then about my current organization, what is the infrastructure present in my current organization? What are the facilities, lab equipments available in the present organization? And what are the past clients, okay, to whom I or with whom I already work or provided the services? So this two-page capability statement I started sharing with the prospective pharma companies. Okay. Now, make sure you prepare this capability statement very customized based on your expertise, based on your skill sets, and based on available infrastructure. Basically, this document should tell you uh, who are you and where you are presently associated, what services you can provide. Okay, then after what you call preparing the capability statement, I started showing interest, okay, through different modes. Okay, for example, I started the email campaign. Okay, it's not a mass email campaign. Okay, so whatever the industries I studied, I obtained their what you call contact details. If I know somebody who is directly responsible for research activities at that organization, okay, I specifically wrote one by one email with list out of various services that I can provide, and what are the areas of the company where I can be a value addition. Okay, then I started sharing my capability statement through different social media. Then wherever I went, visited, talked to people, I spread the awareness, showed my interest that I am willing to uh, what you call provide my services, uh, share my skill, share my knowledge for betterment of what you call maybe the process for evaluation that may be preclinical or clinical, and what you call formulation of maybe Ayurveda formulations. Based on these uh, activities, whatever what you call inquiries I received, okay, based on these activities, whatever the inquiries I received from different pharma companies, I selected only those offers where I can really add the value, where really I can share my knowledge, my skill, and that finalized offers I chose to act upon. Okay, so aware myself, showed interest that I am willing to be a pharma consultant, and took a wise decision to whom with whom I should work. Okay, and then started working. Then whatever the inquiries I received, and I selected that offers, I prepared a very extensive project proposal. Okay, so what are the do's and don'ts while preparing the consultancy project proposal? Basically, it's not that you can provide any services, it is the need of the client. Okay, it is the need of the company. Okay, so to prepare a balance appropriate consultancy proposal, you must chat with your client, maybe in person or telephonically. What exactly they require, what they expect from you. Okay, understand their challenges and needs. Okay, for example, if they ask your expertise or inputs for improving their maybe tableting process, okay, maybe their technique to carry out some assay, okay, or evaluate in vitro or maybe in vivo any product. Okay, so you understand their challenges and needs, and accordingly try to include that solutions in project proposal. Ask about details. Okay, for example, any company that approach you to evaluate their Ayurveda formulation for maybe rheumatoid arthritis, anti-rheumatoid arthritis activity, then you must know what are the components present in their product. Okay, why and how that details of the product matters. It help you to decide the model. It help you to decide which drug can be a standard drug in their project proposal. So there are so many things. It can also help you to decide the possible doses, okay, for evaluation, pharmacological evaluation of their formulation. So focus on the client outcome, not consultant input. Okay, it you should always give importance to what is their need, what they are asking, rather than what you can provide. Okay, keep the project proposal very crystal clear. Okay, so it's not too much information. Then ask for feedback. Okay, maybe the first draft of your proposal may not be acceptable to the pharma company, but continuous feedback can help to prepare the proposal according to their expectation, according to their outcome. Okay, then what should be there in a project proposal? Okay, in project proposal you should have your updated contact details. Okay, then list out various reasons, okay, why you can be the right person for them, okay, why they should choose you. Okay, summary of whole proposal in a very crisp manner, that what you are proposing, what are the deliverables, what is the budget, project scope, what are the deliverables out of the total project, timeline, okay, maybe month-wise timeline, week-wise timeline, depends upon how long is the study, okay, how long is the project. Okay, so for example, if it's a only 3-month project, you should give week by week breakup of activities. Okay, that gives a confidence to a client that you have a meticulous planning and what you call consideration of all the factors while preparing the what you call timeline and project proposal. Okay, fees and payment structure. Okay, fees and payment structure is the most important part here. Why? Because cost can be a criteria for acceptance of your proposal or rejection of your proposal. Okay, be professional while preparing your project proposal. Okay, so let me share a template of uh, one of the project proposal. Now there are uh, so many what you call online platforms that help you to prepare the project proposal. So this is one example which I usually use for preparing the consultancy proposal. So basically, what is this? It is a jot form PDF editor. Okay, so this is the blank template. You can include your details, project specific details, okay, and create a PDF and you can share that PDF. Okay, so this is the front page where you have the your detail, okay, and the proposal created for means client detail. Then second page is about the so let me share here. Okay, this is the project description. Then company background means here it's your background. Okay, who are you and how best you can be for this project. Excuse me. So so this section should tell you your credentials and uh, what you call past experiences. Then the another section that is objectives of the proposal, scope of the work, and payment term. Payment term, yes, what can be the total amount? Then timeline, completion date, sorry, start date and completion date. This is just a template. you can assess that in that proposal or the template on jotform.com. So this is one resource I use, as it is freely available. I use this for submitting project proposal to different pharma companies. Okay. Now let me share the budget part. Okay. So as I said, budget is the one of the deciding criteria whether you will get the offer from the client or not. Okay. There are different guidelines at different organizations. Okay. For example, there is a guideline from AICT for industry sponsored projects. Okay. What is that? When it is a research based project, when it is a research based project where infrastructure of the uh, institute or university will be used, then profit sharing will be 70% and 30%. 70% goes to the principal investigator and 30% profit goes to the institute or university. Okay. Then when project is only a intellectual input base, means there is a telephonic consultation that you provided to the pharma company, then profit sharing will be 50-50%. Okay. So these are the different guidelines. You can refer to the IIT Bombay guidelines or any organization that suits to you. Okay. But the important point here, that you should have a very detailed budget that includes the consultancy fee paid to principal investigator A, then consultancy fee to co-PI, and fee paid to other investigators A, B, C. Not necessarily that in all projects there will be PI, co-PI, and other investigators. Okay. Maybe a single person can be a PI. So in that case, only A will be the cost. Okay. So when there is a PI, co-PI, and other investigators, the cost will be A, B, C, and total consulting fee will be the addition of A plus B plus C, that is equal to D. Okay. Now, when you will need co-PI or other investigators, co-PI, for example, there is a Ayurveda formulation which need to be standardized from pharmacognosy point of view, quality point of view, and quantity point of view. Okay. See, PI is a pharmacologist, but the project demands that, or client demands that Ayurveda formulation or the herbal formulation should be standardized and should be evaluated also. Then in that case, if pharmacognosy or quality assurance is not your expertise, then you can have your colleague as a co-PI in such project. Okay. And you can share the consultancy fee between you and your co-PI. Okay. Then what are the equipments required to execute your project? Okay. What are the consumables, contingency items required to complete the project? Okay. Who will be the manpower? Okay. Whether you're MPharm student, your PhD student, or maybe your what you call person hired for maybe 6 months or 1 year based on the project duration. Okay. Maybe if it's an animal study based research project, then you may wish to give some portion to your lab assistant or to your animal house attendant. Okay. Based on that, various headings in budget will be included. Whether your project involves what you call, whether your project involves a travel for maybe sample analysis, travel for dispatching the sample, okay, or maybe travel for presentation or travel for meeting, okay. So these all miscellaneous expenses will be included. Then overhead. As your institute or university providing the infrastructure and facility to carry out this project work, there should be a 5 to 15% of overhead depend upon your institute's policy. Okay, and including all this cost, you will have your total consultancy project budget. Okay, now you should have very clear understanding about the payment terms. Okay, for example, at our institute, usually payment is before the start of the project, 50% total budget cost should be paid from the client or from the industry to the our university. And then 50% will be after completion and submission of the project report. Okay. So institute to institute, you can develop your what you call budget conditions, payment conditions. Now, what helped me in my past 8 to 10 years that I works with so many pharma companies, help them to do various pharmacological studies. Basically, curiosity. I told you in the beginning that I was not satisfied with only teaching assignment. Okay, I was very curious that how best combination I can have of research as well as teaching. Okay, so that curiosity helped me to what you call start the pharma consultancy project. And we all know that when we are curious, we view tough situations more creatively. What I mean by tough situation creatively? Yes, when I joined the my previous institute, okay, in Mumbai, then I felt that there is so much push from the university that each faculty should bring pharma industry project, pharma funding, industry funding. Then I viewed that tough situation differently and started working as a pharma consultant. Okay, so that uh, consultancy, that curiosity actually helped me to have a right combination of teaching and research. Even I was in academic institute. Okay, the second thing that helped me to uh, what you call uh, be a pharma sciences consultant is a collaboration. Okay, so my core area is a pharmacology, but not all the time you will get pharmacology based projects. Okay, sometime there may be an inquiry that client want you to develop a formulation for them. Okay, client want you analyze, characterize their formulation for from you. Okay, so in that situation, what I did, I collaborated. So I collaborated with my department colleagues, uh, other departments in the same institute and outside institute. Basically, I believed in one philosophy that earning 100 rupee from one customer, okay, rather than earning 100 rupee from a one customer, it is better to earn 1 rupee from 100 customers. Okay, okay, my what you call focus on that whatever query comes to me for pharma consultancy, I should not return that query or that opportunity. Okay, rather I should collaborate with other colleagues, other departments, other institute, and take that opportunity, work on that project, and what you call deliver the services to the what you call pharma company. Okay, so during this 8 to 10 years, I believed in shared skills and responsibilities. Okay, so when what I realized when I work in a collaboration, when I started sharing responsibilities with my colleague and other departments, okay, that help me to complete the project in a faster manner and in a better manner. Okay, so that is what my experience or the learning from this. Then clear communication. Okay, so when I decided that I also work as a pharma sciences consultant, then first thing I did is the communication to myself, clear communication to myself, that in addition to teaching, okay, I will have to put extra efforts, extra time. Okay, I will have to stay back for extended hours in the office or in the lab to complete the pharma science or pharma industry projects. So I cleared that things to myself. Okay, it is not the 100% requirement by the my employer, but it was my expectation, and that's why I made a wise decision that it's my decision to work on a pharma company projects. Okay, second thing, I also clearly communicated to my employer that I wish to undertake such industry sponsored projects. And another thing, I cleared the communication with my customer. Clear communication regarding the deliverables, realistic expectation, the best possible budget and payment and terms. Okay, it's better to communicate clearly rather than having conflict uh, of interest in between or at the end of the project. Okay, so clear communication to myself, to the employer, and to my customer or the pharma company help me to get or and complete the industry projects. And then commitment. Okay, clear communication, clear commitment to myself. Okay, see what happens when like everyone wish to that have projects at my previous institute. Okay, but it is your personal commitment whether you really want to undertake the pharma consultancy projects or not. Okay, so clear thought process, clear commitment to yourself is really important to carry out various assignments, what you call sponsored by or funded by pharma company. Okay, now another thing that helped me to get more and more consultancy offers from different company is my visibility. Okay, so your visibility to outside world is very important. Okay, and that's why my experience says that you should have uh, first thing, if you wish to take a pharma consultancy assignments, then you should have your well prepared and professionally looked capability statement. Okay, another thing, your various scientific platforms or profiles should be regularly updated. Okay, for example, Google Scholar profile. Okay, so Google Scholar profile is sufficient to tell anybody outside your institute or within your institute that in which areas you are working, what you have already done. Okay, who are your other collaborators. Okay, what kind of impactful research papers you have published. Okay, so your visibility, scientific visibility, I mean. Okay, your scientific visibility to outside world is very important. So that is what helped me, capability statement, my very much updated Google Scholar, then time to time papers that I publish in national and international journals, my research gate profile, your professional, what you call profile maintain on a LinkedIn, and occasional, what you call awards, achievements, your scientific achievements on Facebook, then Scopus credentials. Okay, the values on a Scopus, values on a Google Scholar, okay, also matters a lot. Okay, then what are the other way you can improve your visibility? That is associating with various platforms. Okay, one of the platform what I frequently use is Maven. Okay, Maven is a international platform, okay, where companies what you call put their request, and simultaneously on other side you have what you call lakhs of or crores of pharma consultant profiles. Okay, what is the Maven? Maven is a platform where customer as well as service providers are together. Okay, so I have my own profile on a Maven. Maven is basically a person who renders the services for betterment. Okay, that is Maven. So Maven is a smart way to increase your what you call visibility to the scientific world, to the pharma industry. Okay, Maven help you to build the fastest and easiest way. It also help you to connect and consult with the knowledgeable people all over the world. Okay, it also help you to deliver the expertise on demand. Okay, so expertise on demand means, for example, you need a survey of particular product, uh, like who are the competitors, who are the players. Okay, they have maybe aerosol form of what you call salbutamol, okay, or Respul maybe. Okay, so this Maven platform help you to connect with the various pharma industries throughout the world. Okay, sometimes you will get only a telephone consultation. Okay, that they have a doubt or they have a what you call challenge in their maybe extraction process. Okay, maybe order or color masking process. There you can, as a pharmaceutics person or a quality assurance person, you can help them how they can mask the taste, bitter taste or unpleasant taste of their formulation, or how they can color their tablet in a aesthetic manner. Okay, so this is what the platform where the consultants and pharma companies are together. Another thing that helped me, that is Pharma Research and Development Association, that is PRADA. So PRADA is again what you call not for profit social organization. Okay, it's a not for profit social organization that help you to create your profile. Okay, PRADA help you to foster the R&D and support individuals for their professional and personal growth. Okay, what I mean here, I have created my profile on a Prada, and the companies those need services which I can provide, they can contact me through Prada. Okay, so network of allied group of professionals from life sciences and chemical sciences to different streams of uh, uh, what you call life sciences and medical sciences also. Okay, so Prada also carry out what you call various activities that, like R&D funding, patent and trademark consultancy, freelance R&D projects, patent licensing and commercialization support, buy sale of R&D products and molecules, peer group networking, international career opportunities, and many more. Okay, so you can visit the website and create your profile and increase your visibility to pharma companies, and that may help you to get your first pharma consultancy project. Okay, another platform that helped me is Zintro. Okay, so Zintro is a global platform that makes easy for companies to start conversation with more than 2 lakh of highly specialized consultants. Okay, so Zintro is not for everyone. It's only for companies and for consultants. Okay. Uh, and other professionals about the potential consulting projects, phone consults, and employment opportunities. So you have the micro consultation, means you need a very small help, okay, like order masking and color masking, maybe questionnaire designing, then inclusion exclusion criteria for a clinical study or preclinical study, dose decision, okay, or duration of the study. So these are the small queries pharma companies can have, and that can be asked to a consultant by phone, okay, and based on that they will have payment. So how many hours of your productive hours you are giving to the pharma company will decide the cost of project, okay. So uh, so at the end, you should have a clear understanding whether you can really assist the pharma company at different levels. Okay. For example, this slide may not be clear, but yes, let me read for you that can you really provide the requested information to your client. Okay, can you really provide a solution to a given problem. Okay, for example, pH, okay, uh, if company wants to release the drug specifically at small intestine level, so how their tablet should be designed or tablet formulation should be designed. Okay, so that kind of information, whether you should have that kind of expertise or not. Okay, then conduct the diagnosis that may redefine the problem. Okay, provide recommendation, assist the implementation, build consensus and commitment, facilitate the client learning, improve organizational effectiveness. Okay, so if at present company is manufacturing a tablet, maybe 2 lakhs of tablet for a day. Okay, how you can improve their process so that their output or the number of tablets manufactured in a day can be increased significantly. Okay, then other thing where you can help to the pharma company in formulation, characterization, and analysis, their in vitro evaluation, in vivo evaluation, preclinical evaluation, clinical evaluation. Okay, so these are the various levels you can assist. Okay, now last thing, that what is the take home message out of this is you can get repeated orders. Okay, you can get repeated orders from the same customer, or you can get more consultancy offers from different companies, provided you provide the best service. Okay, give a personal touch means uh, what client requires. Okay, what is their challenge, what is their need. When you provide a customized solution to their specific problem and give the personal touch, okay, then another thing, clear expectation between you and the pharma company. Okay, collect the time to time feedback. Okay, collect the time to time feedback from your satisfied customer or unsatisfied customer can help you to uh, improve your services. Okay, consultancy services. Okay, then build relationship to your customers or pharma companies so that you get repeated offers. Appreciate your client for their services, for their promptness, for their clear understanding. Okay, then use various social media platforms to increase your scientific visibility, to increase the visibility about your scientific credentials, awards, and achievements, about your past served customers. Okay, and be accessible. Be accessible. What I mean, if someone wish to take your services, you should be accessible easily. Okay, means your various platforms, various profiles at various platform should be time to time updated, so that your client can understand what you are doing, what are the extra skills you have achieved in last 1 year, maybe in last 5 years, and highlight how you can be the best uh, consultant for any pharma company. Okay, so with this, uh, uh, I stop here, and thank you again for providing this opportunity to talk to you all students and faculty at Parul University.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, I wanted to know one thing. It was very enlightening hearing you about consultancy, and I can make out you are very doing it from your heart. It was a
Mhm.
domain which is actually less explored by academicians, and
Mhm.
we are all fortunate that you are here with us today for this webinar. Sir,
Mhm.
one question I am having personally is that whenever preclinical trials or preclinical studies are okay, we can do it at our labs. But
Mhm.
what about clinical studies? If there is any clinical studies to be done, how you people do at your organization?
See, at present we have around 20 bed clinical study facility, and that is
Okay.
uh, compliant to various agencies, and that's
Okay.
why we can carry out the clinical study as well. Uh, in previous organization, we had no association with the hospital. We had no clinical study facilities, but I still handle, uh, I think, two projects where I help them to prepare the information
Questionnaire.
brochure, design the inclusion and exclusion criteria, design the informed consent form. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
their pre-clinical trial activities, pre-trial activities,
Yes,
like
sir.
help them to prepare the product monograph, help them to prepare the SMPC. Okay, so such kind of services you can still offer, which are
Yes.
required as per the regulatory affairs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much,
Mhm.
sir. Sir, our principal sir is also online.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Hello, Dr. Mukesh. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing well. How are you?
Going on very nice and elaborate. After a long time, I think we are meeting.
Yes, yes. In fact, I did my master's from Baroda only, MS University, and
Okay.
I had a great time in Baroda.
So it may be feeling delightful to give a webinar in Baroda itself, Mukesh.
Yes.
And it reminds me about few days back or years back, like when we were working with NMIMS. So that also recalls comes. So, on behalf of Faculty of Pharmacy, I would like to thank you, Dr. Mukesh, for sparing your time. I
Yes.
know you're very busy with a lot of assignments going on.
Yes.
I do read your what you say Facebook daily, which comes updated every time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So that's the things, and very nicely you have elaborated how a relation should go from an academic to an industry, which we were carrying out at NMIMS. So I think the same culture can be carried out here also, and with your elaborative and explorative speech which you have given in the narrations, and hope the new buddies which are in the pharmacies, they also come as a good entrepreneur, so that we can use our own alumni in cooperating and collaborating with them.
Yes.
So once again, all I thank you, Dr. Mukesh, for sparing the time, and stay healthy, stay safe.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Over
sir.
to you, Snigdha ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insight on this topic. I hope all our participants must have benefited from your talk. I look forward for many more such educational talks in future. Thank you, sir, once again from
Yeah,
on behalf of
grateful.
Parul University. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.